Hi, welcome to Middle Veterans. So this is the second installment of the WebLogic series, and in the last video we have seen how to install a WebLogic product, and in this video we're going to see how to create a domain. So last video we have seen the installers, the Java, the temp location, and the installation location, and we have seen how to install the product, and we have also discussed about what are the files and the folder structures that are going to come post installation. So in this video we're going to see how to create a domain. So basically, what's a domain? A WebLogic domain is basically a combination of a WebLogic configuration and server instances. So without a domain, you cannot work with WebLogic, as simple as that. So your WebLogic product is not going to contain a server. It's just a product. So you're going to create a domain where you're going to personalize WebLogic to yourself. You're going to have any number of application server instances that you want. You can create a data source. You can create a connection to, say, to an LDAP or to a messaging instance. So whatever you want to do with WebLogic, you're going to do only with your domain. So without a domain, WebLogic is of no use. So in order to create a domain, there is a utility from Oracle, which is a domain wizard, where it's going to guide you how to create a domain. So with that wizard, what is it we are going to do? Three things. You can create, delete a domain. You can create and delete a domain template. Now, what's a domain template? A domain template is basically you have a domain and you have configured domain for your usage. Say you have got some two managed servers and you have clustered it and you have created configuration log. Now you want to replicate the same set uh, into another system or into another environment. You can create a template of this domain and you can directly implement this domain. So you know how to do the process from the beginning. It's just you're going to have this template, move it right back there, and you're going to have it. So that's what domain template is all about. It makes our work simple. The next one is extending a domain. So you have certain features for a domain and you want to extend it, then you want to choose this option of extending a domain. Now, how to create a domain? So let's go to our product. So here we are, the Oracle Home. This Oracle Home, we have something called as Oracle Common bin. Now, since it's a multi-platform installer, you're going to have the SH files as well as the BAT files. You can see the SH files and the BAT files here. So the command of our interest is going to be config. So let's fire that command. Okay. So the command is going to be config.cmd. Now this will pop up a wizard. Yeah. So this wizard, as I said, is going to guide us to create the WebLogic domain. Here we have. So the first question is create a new domain. Yes, we are going to create a new domain. And in WebLogic, the domains are going to be created inside a folder called as user projects. So you're going to have n number of domains inside this user projects if you require. So the basic and the default path is Oracle Home, user projects, domains, and the base domain. So just for our convenience, I'm going to make it as domain 1, which means that a server can hold more than one domain. Next. And here we have the template information. So WebLogic has given us multiple templates. So we are going to go with the basic WebLogic template. That is this one. Next. So the user and password for the domain, I'm going to have WebLogic, and the password is going to be WebLogic @123. WebLogic @123. Even though this is not a best practice, so for our sake, I'm going to have this. Okay, next. A domain is going to behave in two modes. One is the production mode, another one is the development mode. Now, it's not that development mode is for the developers and production mode is for the production environment. The name does not signify that. Now, the basic significance of a development mode is that a development mode is basically used by the developers where they're going to have a minimal and a generic configuration. So if you're a developer and if you think that I'm going to use WebLogic server only for my development purpose, then go ahead, go with the development mode. It's going to have few developer friendly features like auto deployment, and you need not to create certain things. uh, it comes by default. Now, production mode. A production mode is something a non-developer is going to use. For example, you have an environment and a project in which there are multiple environments, say it's starting from test, UAT, staging, and prod, and you have one with development. And I would say that all environments that are administrated by the administrators, it's better to have the production mode. For developers who are having the local systems for the development purpose, please use the development mode. So for administrators like us, production mode is what is preferable. And yes, so it has picked the JDK from the server, and you do have an option to change it if you want. But yes, it's picked it. So we're going to go with the production mode and the existing JDK. We're going here, we are using here hotspot. So click on next. And here's where we're going to have three options, basically to, for one is for administration server. Now the option right over there is modify. It has not given an option to create or delete. That means that the administration server is created by default during the WebLogic domain creation, and you don't have a choice to delete it, and you don't have an option to stop it from being created. And you have only one option, that is you can modify it. So I'm going to click modify here. Let's see what happens. Then you have something called as node manager, and again, you don't have an option to create or delete. It's just you can configure it for your domain. And what is this node manager and what is the use of it, we're going to see in the consecutive classes. Then we have the topology, where if you want to right away create domain setup with managed servers and admin servers and node managers, you can select this. But in an environment that is going to be produced for the customers, it's always better that we go step by step. We don't want to rush it. So I have just selected the admin server here, and I'm going to click on next. And this is what you can modify for the administration server. One is the name of the server. You can keep whatever name you want. So you can have Rajnikant, Salman Khan, or whatever you want, you can keep it. But here the default name is admin server. Then listen address. If you want to bind the server to a specific listen address, you can have it here. My sincere advice would be, do not give IPs, always give host names. Because if you bind the server to an IP, and if it's going to be a virtual machine, and if virtual machine moves from one IP to another IP, this is not going to work. So always either bind it to a local host or bind it to a host name. So the default post of WebLogic administration server, or we call it as the WebLogic admin port, is 7001. And for now, we are going not. We are not going to go with the security, so I'm not checking the SSL here. So I'm going to click next, and here we have the summary, and I'm going to click create. So it's going to take much lesser time than the installation process. Yep, done. Finish. So if you see here, Oracle Home, and you see a folder called as user projects, domains, and this is where we have our domain. And this is our domain structure. So the first folder of our interest is bin. Obviously, this is the folder in which you're going to have binaries. Now, as I said, it's a multi-platform installer, so you're going to have sh commands and batch commands. So for my convenience, I'm going to delete this. So these are the commands that WebLogic offers us, and very simple. I mean, you want to have to start an admin server, stop it, start a managed server, stop it, start a node manager, and stop it. So the command basically comes in pairs, and it's not that difficult to remember, and you need to have to memorize it. The next important folder is the config folder, and in this config folder, you have something called as config.xml. This is the heart of this domain. If anything happens to this config folder, your domain is crashed. And whatever the changes or configurations that you're going to have in this domain, it's going to be in this folder, in this file. So this is like the heart, and you have to keep it, you can't change it, you can't, manipulate or anything of that sort. So you have to keep it untouched. It's a recommendation from Oracle that you don't touch the config.xml. Whatever changes that you're going to have, you want to have to a domain, either do it through GUI or use a command line interface. So please do not override this domain manually. Then we have a folder called as the node manager. So this is the node manager folder uh, where we are not discussed the node manager yet, but I'm going to tell you uh, this folder contains a couple of files where you're going to configure the node manager to this particular domain. I mean, you're not going to create it, or you're not going to, you know, okay, let's not talk about node manager now. Let's see in the consumer classes. So that's all with this video. So in the next video, we'll see how to power up the domain and see what is an admin console looks like. Thank you.